Hello everyone, welcome to my class of simultaneous linear equations in two variables, chapter 5 of class 9 icse board. In this particular class we are going to learn about simultaneous linear equations and the different methods required to solve them. Okay, so let's start. So in previous classes you might have understood that linear equation in one variable, the general form is given by ax plus b equals to 0. Okay, this is an example of linear equation in one variable where x is the variable and a and b are real numbers. Okay, and the solution, that means the value of x that satisfies this equation is only 1. So what is x here? In this case we'll get minus b by a. Okay, so minus b by a, b and a are given, those are real numbers, so this is the solution for the given equation. So if you put minus b by a in place of x, the left hand side and the right hand side are equal. So what about linear equation in two variables? So when we are saying about linear equation in two variables, that means the equation is linear, but we have two variables. Like this is the general form of linear equation in two variables, where we have the variables as x and y. Okay, ax plus by plus c equals to 0, and a, b, c are real numbers. Okay, so how many solutions do we have for linear equation in two variables? Since we have two variables, that means we need the value of x as well as value of y that satisfies this equation. Okay, so in that case for each value of x there will be a different value of y. Okay, that means we have infinite solutions. So how do we find the solutions? Like suppose if I want to express this equation in terms of x, I get ax equals to minus c minus by, and x equals to minus c minus by, whole thing divided by a. Okay, so a, b, c are real numbers. That means if I put x equals to 0, I will have some value of y. If I take x equals to 1, I'll have some value of y. So we have infinite solutions in case of linear equation in two variables, only when one equation is given. Okay, so let us see some other possibilities, like when we have a system of simultaneous linear equations. What do you mean by system? That means two linear equations or more than two linear equations. Okay, so we have two variables. To solve these equations we need at least two equations. Okay, and when we have three variables we can have as many variables as we want, right? So ax plus by plus cz plus d equals to 0. So there we have three variables. Then we need three equations to solve, but here we have two variables x and y in both those equations, so we need two equations to solve them. The value of x and y that satisfies both the equation forms the ordered pair or the solution for the equations. Okay, those values of x and y should satisfy both the equations. Okay, these are the different methods that we use to solve a system of linear equations with the two variables. The first one is substitution method, then we have elimination method, then cross multiplication method, and the final one is graphical method. This one is not there in this chapter, so we're going to see how to solve a system of linear equations in graphical method in some other chapter. Okay, where we have a graphical representation of straight lines. So there we are going to see that. In this particular class we are going to see the substitution method. Okay, now let us see what are the steps involved in substitution method. Choose one of the equations first, any equation according to your convenience, and then solve for one of the variables, okay, in terms of the other variable. Understood? Then the thing that we are going to do is substitute that value of the variable in the other equation, so that we will have only one variable equation, and then we can solve for the variable and then substitute and find the other variable. So these are the steps to find the solution using substitution method. We'll see the examples when we solve the questions from the exercise, then it will be much easier to understand. And you can always go back and check your solution whether it is correct or not by just substituting the values that you have got into the original equations, whether they hold for the equation or not. Okay, so let's see the questions from the exercise. Okay, this is our first question from the exercise 5.1, where we have two equations. So let us number them according to the equations we have. Say the first equation is x minus t equals to 3. Let this be the first equation, and the second one is x by 3 plus t by 2 equals to 6. Okay, this is our solution, and this is our equation number 2. Now you can easily see the variables. The first equation we have s, t, and in the second equation also we have s and t. So we have two variables and two equations. Now our first step is to choose one of these two equations. So I think the simpler one is better. So let us choose the first equation. So we can write from 1 we have s minus t equals to 3. And what is the next step? We are going to solve for one of the variables. Okay, so either s or t. So it's better to move t minus t since it is in minus. So we can move this s equals to 3 plus t or t plus 3, whatever you want to write. Now we have got the value of the variable in terms of the other. Next step is to substitute this value. Substituting in the second equation. Okay, so in the second one, in place of s we are going to write 3 plus t. Okay, so 3 plus t, whole thing in place of s we have written that 3 plus t by 2. Okay, it should look like t by 2 equals to 6. You can see now this equation is turned into equation of one variable. So we just have only t here variable. We can easily solve for t. So LCM we can take 6. So multiplying by 2 into 3 plus t plus 3 into t, that's 6. Now you have 2 into 3, 6 plus 2t plus 3t equals to 6 goes to the numerator here. 6 into 6, 36. So 2t plus 3t, 5t, and 6 goes that side. We have 36 minus 6. So t equals to, this becomes 30 and divided by 5. Now that we have the value of one of the variables t, we can put this value or substitute that in any of the given equations to find the other variables. So I say that the first equation is easier. So s minus t equals to 3. Okay, so now we put 6 here. So s equals to 6. 3 plus 6, that's 9. So the value of t is 6 and the value of s is 9. Now if you want to check whether your solution is correct or not, you have to just put those values in the original equations. Let us check it. So if you put s equals to 9 and t equals to 6, the left hand side 9 minus 6 is 3, which is equal to the right hand side. So our solution is right according to this equation. Now let us put that value in the second equation. I get s equals to 9 by 3, that's 3, and 6 by 2, that is also equal to 3, and so 3 plus 3 equals to 6. So our left hand side is equal to the right hand side, hence whatever the solution we have got, it is right. Okay, this is our second equation, question number 4.1, where we have mx minus ny equals to m square plus n square and x plus y equals to 2m. So our variable, if you can see, that's x and y here, and here also we have x and y. So the other things that m and n is some real number. Okay, so mx minus ny, we took this equation as our first equation, and this is the second equation. Now what we are going to do, using the first step, that we have to choose one of those two equations, and I think the second one is easier if we take. So we are taking the second equation first, x plus y equals to 2m. So x, in terms of x we have got in terms of y we have got x, so x equals to 2m minus y. Now this value, since we have taken it from the second equation, we'll put this in the first equation. Okay, so in place of x we are going to put 2m minus y. So in place of x, this is the value we have substituted, and now, so on solving this, you get y equals to m minus n. Okay, so the process is very simple. If you go through all these steps, it's simple. Here we can cancel n plus m, and m plus n or n plus n is same, so we can cancel this term, and what we are left with is this. So finally we have y equals to m minus n. Now what we are going to do is we'll substitute this value in the previous equation, that's x plus y equals to 2m. Okay, in place of y, this is the value of y, so in place of y we put m minus n, and we get x equals to m plus n. So these values of x and y are the solutions for the given two equations. Okay, in this question again we have two equations, not very difficult, these are also simple. We just have to see that we have x and y are the variables here. Okay, here also we have x and y, so we are going to choose any of these two equations. We have chosen the second equation. It is according to your convenience, right? You can also choose bit of practice will help you decide which equation you are going to choose. Okay, so choosing the second one, we have x by a, okay, minus y by b goes to that side, so we have this. So we can take this value and substitute this in the first equation. So on substituting that, in place of x we have written the value of x here. Okay, this is the value of x, and the other part as it is. Now solving that, we get y equals to minus 2b. So this is the value of y, this is minus 2b. Okay, so again we have found one variable, we need to find the other variable also. So we can put this value in any of the two equations. Like in the second equation we have just put the value of y, so minus 2b. In place of y we have written minus 2b. So b and b gets cancelled, minus into minus plus, so plus 2 goes to that side, minus 2, so that's 2. X by a equals to 2 and x equals to 2a. So x equals to 2a and y equals to minus 2b is the solution for the given set of equations. In this question you are going to solve those two equations for x and y, and then you are going to put the values in this one and find the value of. So first you have to find the value of x and y, and then you are going to find the value of b using those values. So as we have solved in the previous questions, we have chosen one of the equations, then finding the value of the variable in terms of the other variable, then substituting, that value in one of the equations, not one of the equations. We have taken equation number 1 here, so we have to substitute in the second equation. Okay, so x equals to 16 by 5. Substituting the value of x in one of the equations, we get y equals to 23 by 5. And then when we have both the values, we can just put it in the equation of y equals to px minus 3 and y equals to 23 by 5 and x equals to c. So here we get p equals to 19 by 8. So this is the value of p. Okay, so that's all for now in this class. The other methods to solve simultaneous linear equations in two variables, we'll look into that in the upcoming classes. Thank you.